Billy, a few times this season, Golden State seemed to do it the other night. Teams have kind of way that those passes to the roll man, whether it's Steven or Jeremy. What are some of the best ways for you all to be able to combat that or kind of leverage against that, basically?
Yeah, I mean, we still need to roll, hard to the basket. There's ways to try to get in front of or ahead of the ball when you can. A lot of times it's late coverage. If the coverage is somewhat late, meaning it's back, it's waiting to help. The harder the guy can roll, the better. And then I think obviously trying to get middle, trying to turn the corner, trying to make the extra pass.
Billy, both Chris Paul and James Harden are having unbelievable isolation seasons. What is it, just beyond them being great at isolation plays, what is it that makes them so successful out of those sets?
Oh, I think it all starts with shooting. Shooting threes, because once you shoot a high percentage from the three-point line, you have to go up, and anytime you have to go all the way up like that on players, it gives them a lot more room and space to be able to make plays, So I always think guys that really shoot the ball extremely well and are a threat to make threes inevitably are put in a position to go around players a lot easier, because you have to come up and respect that. And certainly both those guys are good shooters.
Harden is so good now at that step back three. What's the way that you want to defend that without getting?
Yeah, I don't think there's about specific moves and things like that. Like I've always said this, against great offensive players, you're not going to just stop them or shut them down. What you try to do is try to create as much opportunity to generate possessions where you're making them work as hard as they can work. I mean, that's really all you're doing. I mean, you're not going to prevent him from getting a shot off. You're not going to prevent him from driving. But what you can do is make the shots as challenging, as difficult as you can. Now, what makes him great is he makes a lot of really difficult hard shots. He makes a lot of really difficult challenge shots. That's what makes him who he is. But you got to try to make it as difficult. Certainly when you don't want to get open looks.
Well, there was a point this year where you talked about kind of focusing on passes being on point, really getting in the right places and on time. Is that still an issue for you guys?
I mean, it's still stuff we talk about on a regular basis. We can be better at it, to be honest with you. Sometimes we don't deliver the ball where it needs to be, when it needs to be. Sometimes we take shooters out of shots. That's an area that we've got to get better at. But also, I think in defense of our guys, when you're driving and you're penetrating, or there's somebody actively who's got hands and you see a guy open, sometimes you're having to throw the ball around defense, over defense, and sometimes it's hard to get it there. Sometimes you use a dribble or a ball fake or put it on the floor to make it create a better angle.
Really, how important is it to have Raymond going into the postseason, considering you all had such difficulty with Russell off the floor last season? I know it's a different scenario because you have Paul.
Yeah, I don't look at we got 3 games left. We got to earn our way in. I mean, I don't even think about that. We're playing Houston right now, and that's my total focus. I'm not worried about anything past Houston, and what Miami after that, and then Memphis. I mean, we can. If we're fortunate enough to be in that position, then we can talk about that. But I'm not really. My focus right now is trying to play and get ready to play on Saturday.
How has that affected the team this season? Just having Raymond to fill in that role, and not to throw somebody in the bus or anything like that.
Yeah, no. I listen. Raymond is a really, really veteran, experienced guy, and I think the one thing, it was hard for Samaj. And it wasn't because of Samaj. I think being a rookie, his first time up there, having to take over a second unit, there was a lot. And I think it made him a better player. Raymond's been in the league for so long. I mean, he can take 4 guys and he can get them organized and get them where they need to go, and he can speak to them and he can kind of encourage them. He can give them, positive feedback. He can motivate them. He can lift them up. He's in tune to what's going on in the game. He's in tune to matchups. So he helps that group in a lot of different ways. And he didn't shoot the ball particularly well against Golden State, but he certainly has led, I think, a lot of charges for us in that second and third quarter where we've been behind and we've kind of regained some momentum. So, to your point now, going forward, I mean, he's really, really important to our team because of his leadership ability.
Is there a decisiveness you need from that position?
Oh yeah, I mean, you gotta have a guy that that's been in situations that can read runs, or you have a couple bad possessions. Hey, slow down. Let's get into something. You know, how they're guarding or what they're doing, and he can. You know, you got to be able to do a lot of different things from in that position, because you're trying to lead four different players and trying to get them all on the same page.
Really, it used to be not that long ago that 10 makes from 3 was kind of a thing. You know, that was a significant number, either made or allowed. Is 10 a thing anymore? And what would the new threshold be?
Oh, I don't think 10. You know, I've always looked at the 3-point line from my perspective in terms of, you're not going to always eliminate threes or take away threes, but what you're going to be able to do, is you have to look at the shooting percentage. You know, I always look at that. To me, you know, if a team takes a lot of threes and they shoot a low percentage, you know, that's probably a good trade-off. But, you know, if you have a team that's shooting a lot of threes and they're shooting 37, 38, 39%, that's a problem. You know, so it's not like you're going to stop teams from shooting threes, but, you know, can you contest them? Can you challenge them? And the teams like Houston or Golden State, that's what makes them who they are. They can make difficult and challenge threes, but you're just not going to take them all away from them and not prevent them from going up. So I never worry about the number of makes, but I do worry more about, okay, what is the shooting percentage? Because you can make 23s and take 70 shots from 3.
Right.
You know, that's okay. You know,
right.
But you know, it's what the shooting percentage to me is really what drives and makes a big difference.
After the game a couple days ago, Paul talked about his shooting mechanics and not feeling comfortable with shooting mechanics. If you've had that discussion with him, what's the discussion been like, and how are you helping him in that regard?
You know, these guys all have had maybe different things to reference back to, and Paul has talked about, you know, where he's had maybe some ups and downs with his shooting throughout his career. You know, that's happened, so it's not like the first time he's gone through this thing. The biggest thing I try to encourage him on is, I think, to get yourself back into a rhythm, is the more you can generate game speed shots in your routine, I think the better off, and helps you get back into it. You know, these guys get a lot of shots up and they try to stay in rhythm shooting the ball. But I think sometimes when you go through a difficult shooting period, you know, getting those game speed reps in. Not that you need to take 1,000 of them, but, you know, really moving and cutting and coming off screens or running on the break and catching and shooting. Try to put yourself into situations that you're going to normally be in during the game and start to see the ball going in the basket through practice. I think a lot of times that will help someone like that's got a great stroke like Paul does, because he's a great shooter. He just hasn't shot it well.
Have y'all recognized anything in tape?
No, not really. I haven't really seen anything where I say, wow, his shot looks different to me. You know, for him, I mean, he knows his shot better than anybody else. You know, I feel like elite scorers, you know, it's probably like Tiger Woods. I mean, no one knows his golf swing better than him. And Paul George, nobody knows his shot better than him. No one knows the experiences he's gone through, where maybe he's gone through some ups and downs during the course of the season where he hasn't shot the ball well. He'll work his way out of it. I think the way I've tried to encourage him working at it is get back into the gym and get back into that rhythm where you're really cutting and moving at almost game speed, to try to put yourself in those situations to, if it's mechanics or it's rhythm or whatever it is, you kind of expose it in practice and you can kind of keep working on it.
How do you decide, like, some days there's music playing, some days...
I have no idea. I am not the DJ here, that's for sure. I have no idea.
But you have to make some decision about whether that's allowed, right? You're the boss here.
Yeah, but I mean, after practice is over with, this is not going on in practice. Yeah. You know, but you know, after practice is over with, these guys are working. I have no problem with it, but I don't DJ it. Right. You know, but like, we're not listening to music.
Like Bobby Brown here?
No, no Bobby Brown. But I mean, I'm fine with them having it on. You know, after practice is over with, it's fine with me if that's what they want.
You mentioned looking at like shooting percentage on threes and that kind of stuff. Do you look at, when you're evaluating and you're looking at film and that kind of stuff, do you have expected field goal percentage? I think that's what it's called, right? Do you look at expected field goal percentage in conjunction with that?
I mean, I look at it. I don't really pay a lot of attention to it, because I think it's misleading in a lot of ways from the perspective of, you know, well, this is what a guy has shot for his entire career, and this particular game, he was below what we expected him to shoot. Well, that's the game of basketball, you know? I mean, you know, that's what makes the game. But I think, to me, I'm more interested in, you know, not what we were expected to shoot, but what did we shoot? You know, we get fouled a bunch, and we shoot 85% from the free throw line, Well, that wasn't our expected field goal free throw percentage. I just don't know. I think every game's different. I get that you get a body of work and you can kind of pinpoint this is what you should shoot in these shots, but what does that mean? How does that? I don't understand how that helps because you're getting it after the game. Like, what is it doing in the game to help?
What about over the larger sample size? So, like, for example, you look at Paul's in a slump for about 5 weeks or so, his percentages are down, just to evaluate to say, like, okay, these are different shots, these are similar shots to what he was getting before?
I like doing that, but I don't think that in talking to him, he's getting any different shots. It's not like, you know, we, after the All-Star break, say, hey, listen, we're going to put an entirely new offensive system in now, and instead of getting shots over here, you're going to get shots here. I don't think that's going on. I think the biggest thing with, you know, with Paul, like I said, is getting back into that rhythm. But I think that would be like a mistake. Like this is what I mean. I think sometimes that expected field goal percentage is a way to eliminate work, in my opinion. Well, hey, I mean, Paul can very easily say, oh, listen, you know, this is not what I'm expected to shoot. Here's what I've been expected to shoot my whole entire career. Well, that's great that's what we expect to shoot. That's in the past. Like, what are you shooting now? And how do you work to get through some of that stuff? So just because something happened in the past or there's been a trend in the past doesn't mean that trend holds up in the future, in my opinion. And I could be wrong. I do look at it, but you know, like one of the areas that we struggled in is, you know, we're drastically below our average in terms of finishing on the break. We got to do a better job finishing on the break. I can't sit back as a coach and say, hey, listen, guys, you know, this is what we've been on the break. This is what I expect in the break, but we're all the way down here. We got to do something about it. We can't just expect things to happen. I think you have to work to make things happen.
With a guy like Paul and the shooting slump that he's going through, can it become more mental than?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's all that. I think it's all that. You know, for Paul's been through that before, like he said. I mean, he's been through it. He's got to work himself through it. I got great confidence in him. I mean, he was in here working his tail off today, you know, before and after practice, and he was getting the work in. And that's how you get out of it. You know, there's no other way of getting around it, you know, other than putting the work in. And you got to put the work in to get better. And you know, he's a complete professional. He's a team guy, and you know, he's doing that. And as he continues to do that, it will start to shift for him. You know, and he's had some shots that went in and out. He's missed a couple shots around the basket. Maybe could have gotten him a little bit of a better rhythm. But I mean, he's got to work through it. I mean, that's all he's got. It's the only way I would know how to do it. You know, I think for him and going through some of these situations, the best thing he can do is just put the time and effort into it.
Anybody else?
Thank you.
Thank you, Coach.